Every day, the newspapers, the TV, the internet news are all filled with stories where personal self-interest seems to win out over the common good. As a priest, I see a world in which religious faith sometimes appears much more oppositional than transformative. The challenge for mothers and fathers and families and priests is to be able to make decisions and choices with reference to God's love and all-embracing mercy for everyone. But that can so easily get put on the back burner. For myself, I listened very carefully to the gospel all this week and reflected, listening. Remember, Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me." Following Jesus is, I pray, what we are doing here at Christ the Servant. How we do that is sometimes different for you and different for me. You and I are called to use each of the gifts that God has given us, the many gifts that God has given us, and the talents, in order that we can follow Jesus and live his way of life with more authenticity. It's fairly easy to quote the scriptures. It's easy sometimes to be up here and to tell you what I think is right to do in order to look around and to become more genuine. I can preach the gospel to you. I can make all the right sounds. But following Jesus, for you and for me, is pretty radical stuff. It's about redirecting ourselves each and every day, refocusing ourselves each and every day from being just a fan of Jesus to participating in his way of life, being active co-workers with Jesus, living the message, embodying his message. And that's tough. And not doing so, we can end up with cardiosclerosis, hardening of the hearts. And the hard hearts get us nowhere. What does this have to do with our real world? Following Jesus has everything to do with the streets of Canton or Louisville or North Canton or wherever we happen to be. I'm not called to walk where Jesus walked. That would be in Nazareth or Galilee or Jerusalem. But I am called to walk as he walked. I am not called to live where he lived, but I am called to live in the way he lived. And we're called to challenge each other to that. You're called to challenge me to that, and I'm called to challenge you to that. And mothers and fathers, you're called to challenge your children to do that, to live the way Jesus lived. Applying Jesus' way of walking and living to our lives can be done in 100 different ways. And there is a way for each of us to do it, and Jesus gives us the model. Jesus was never too poor to give. He was never too busy to help. He was never too tired to love. And this is the man who says to us, "Follow me." It has to be more than a general challenge or a generic one that we hear every Sunday. It's a call that is tailored to each one of us. Very specific, very up close and personal. And he calls each of us by name and says to us, "Follow